Godzilla 2014 from MonsterArts. One's controversial and somewhat hated. The other is less controversial and less hated, maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about. Welcome to Rob's Godzilla Room Reviews. Today I'm going to be taking a look at both of the SHMA 2014 Godzilla figures, but I'm going to be doing it in a comparison sort of way. So instead of just getting right into the figures, we're going to be taking a look at some pictures first. So, by all means, let us get started. My god, these blue dorsal plates and the way they glow in this light, they look fantastic. No matter what part of the dorsal plate you're looking at, you're going to see wild amounts of detail, and this metallic blue paint definitely helped the figure out a lot. And I really like that it goes all the way to the tippy top of Godzilla's head. Speaking of Godzilla's head though, one of the most controversial parts about these two figures is simply the eyes. Well, the heads overall. Spitfire Godzilla's eyes, they're not too bad. His left eye is kind of going somewhere else, while his right eye is kind of looking straight ahead. And his teeth don't look as bad as the original. Taking a closer look at his face, you can see that most of the teeth are painted here. They're not all fully painted, and they have less bleed through when it comes to the red. The membranes are painted a lot glossier this time around as well. But I also feel like they're less painted this time around. Does that make any sense? Moving around to the other side, you can see the bleed through is a little bad on the top, not so bad on the bottom. Yet again, the membranes don't feel fully painted here, but let's focus on the eye over here. Mine has two pupils. One big one and one tiny one. Clearly it's a paint error. But those are the two major complaints people have had with the 2014 figures. Just that there's really poor quality control when it comes to the teeth and the eyes. In all honesty, had the teeth and the eyes been painted a lot better than they were, these would be truly perfect Godzilla figures. But now let's focus on the rest of the figure. Spitfire 2014 has more of a muted green on him than the original does. The original, it's just flat out brighter green. This guy, the green's a little bit darker, and the green on the back of the figure obviously has been covered by the blue. Mine just so happens to have a patch of no green on his chest. It looks weird and out there, but everywhere else he's got green. Now let's move on over to the original figure. Starting at the head, Godzilla's got a bloody nose. The membrane paint on this side of the figure is messy, and there's a lot of bloody teeth, some of which aren't even fully painted. But at least the eye looks nice. He's looking straight ahead, right? Moving over to the other side, we can see more bloody teeth and an eye looking downward. I do prefer the membranes on this figure because I feel like they're painted all the way to the root. It's not just ending abruptly like the Spitfire version was. But it's not all perfect. Taking a head-on look at this Godzilla figure, you can see the obvious problem aside from the bloody teeth and the bloody nose. One eye is looking straight down, the other eye is looking straight forward. Now, a lot of people chalk this up to, oh, they did that purposefully so you can pose the figure in different ways and the eyes will match the pose. I call bullshit on that. I mean, hooray for you. If you're okay with that, you're okay with that. If you think it's fine, you think it's fine. But me, what was this figure? $60, $68, maybe $70? 60, whatever, $60, $70. You're paying that for a figure with messed up eyes, a bloody nose, bloody teeth, and messy membrane paint? I don't think so. Don't get me wrong, the tongue looks nice, but this is absolutely not worth the price. But I will say the head is honestly the only part of both of these two figures that I think are flawed. The remainder of the figures I think look pretty good. Moving over to G2014's underbelly, you can see there's more green. It's definitely a lot more present on the figure, and in all honesty, I think it looks nice. Helps the detail pop, even in his crotch pits. Now, green is present not just on his underbelly, but on his back too. As you can see here, there's a nice little patch of green there. There is green on the backs of his thighs, shins, ankles, and feet as well. And there's even some green on the side of his neck, although I don't think that's intentional. Here are the two figures side by side so you can analyze just how much green one has over the other. Looking at this picture now, I can see that some of the green paint on G2014 is a little uneven when it comes to the arms, but then again, that might just be how I'm posing him. But when you come over to Spitfire, the green is a lot more muted, and it looks good there too. And I guess since I have this thing attached to 2014's wrist, I might as well just talk about it. Here's the female Muto head that comes with the Spitfire version of Godzilla 2014. Very nice, very glossy. I do feel some accuracy was missed out upon, especially when it comes to the red eye. Yeah, I get it. The eye would definitely fade once the head's been disconnected from the body, but I do feel that the red kind of gets lost in the base color that was used for this. But it's a nice little accessory, and the wound on the bottom of the head looks Painful to say the least. Here are the two figures side by side. Obviously, Spitfire on the right, the original on the left. You can see that the green on the backs of 2014's thighs is not present on the Spitfire version. Just wanted to throw that out there. Other than that, the only other difference is, I would say Spitfire is a darker shade of black, while the original 2014 is more of a grayish color with green. So the figures essentially have the same downfalls. Not too much was improved upon when it comes to paint. Sure, a couple of things were changed, i.e. dorsal plates and green, but I would say, personally, the Spitfire version of the figure is the better version. I say that personally because I feel the articulation on the Spitfire 2014 figure is a lot better. I feel SHMA definitely had more time to iron out kinks with the figure after the original one was released, and this one took a while to get out there and everything. But a lot of the problems that I have with the original 2014 figure really aren't massively present on this figure. One of those major things being the tail. The original SHMA 2014 Godzilla, his tail kinda sags. Well, mine does at least. The Spitfire version though, it doesn't really sag too bad. In fact, it actually keeps its pose most of the time, and I can keep this Godzilla in a nice dynamic pose and make him look nice and cool up on the shelf. Yet again, I absolutely do feel that the articulation was 100% ironed out when it comes to the Spitfire version. The joints are much more solid, they don't feel as thrown together as the originals does. Plus, I'm just a sucker for atomic breath versions of Godzilla. But you're still gonna get that tail gap, you're still gonna get that little baby arm gap right there. But for the most part, Spitfire absolutely wins. Speaking of which, I guess I have to show this guy actually spitting fire. Atomic breath. It's just, I hate this breath effect piece because it is so very finicky. Oh, that didn't work. That did not work. Sharp. Yeah, with what little problem I have actually getting this thing on the stand, it does look super cool on Godzilla. Plus, I just love how crystalline this thing looks. It looks a lot more majestic than a blue ray of atomic power being expelled from Godzilla's mouth. It's sharp, it's angular, it's got a bunch of different grooves on it, and I really, really love the color. I've had to make this video 3 times today. The second time was because of the sound problem that the first episode had. Turns out that my mic was recording internally and not externally, so I had to use the audio from the camera. Apologies on that. And to be completely honest, the last thing I wanted to do was talk about this figure again in full. I mean, it's the same figure as the Spitfire version. Look. His tail is saggy, it really doesn't work that well. Arms can go all the way around, sometimes they pop off, he can bend, kick, you know, the joints are much more looser on this guy than the other guy. He works, he looks good, he gets the job done. He's got a couple of blemishes here and there when it comes to paint, but, you know, I like him, I just, I didn't feel like talking about him again. I do feel that the Spitfire version of Godzilla 2014 from SH MonsterArts is the superior figure. He's got a lot less wrong with him, but he still does suffer from some of the same problems. OG 2014 boy over here, he looks cool, there's a lot of cool about him. He does suffer from some problems that I really do think SH MonsterArts should have been on top of, but I can't deny, this guy looks so cool, even with his problems. I know somebody's going to ask this, but yeah, here's the original 2014's hand that I swapped out for the Muto head hand. That's pretty much it, everybody. Those are my thoughts and feelings on the 2014 SH MonsterArts Godzilla figure. Spitfire is the ultimate. The original, not so much. Love them both. They're both awesome, even with their flaws. I do feel paying the amount of money that you paid for these figures to have those kind of flaws is a little bit ridiculous. It's also one of the reasons why I'm not very big on the SH MonsterArts series anymore. But we can put that all behind us because the final 2 videos are 2 very lovely figures. So that's it. That's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all here on Friday for the 3rd SH MonsterArts review. I've been ShinRobjira. Do hope you enjoyed. May Skryong be with you all, and I'll see you all on Friday.